Okay, good morning, class. The meeting is now being recorded. For those who can't attend the meeting, they can watch it in their free time. And again, I am Miss Jacklyn, your English teacher for today, and welcome to my class. I hope you will to me well. I want to ask Miss Liongson, Joanna, how are you doing?
I'm very fine, Mom.
That's good to hear. How about you, Miss Jessa? How are you feeling?
I'm doing great, Mom.
I am glad to hear that you are both fine. We must not forget to pray that we will be able to return to our regular classes, but in the meantime, let us concentrate on what we have. Before we begin our lesson, let us start with a brief prayer. Wait. May I request Miss Jessa to lead our prayer?
Lord, as we gather today at this meeting, we ask that you will be in our midst. Help us to make decisions that will be pleasing to you. Help us to be able to discuss the matters at hand in a reasonable way, and to be willing to give up having our own way. God, let this meeting be productive and as should be the case in all areas of our lives. Help us to keep you at the forefront of our minds as we do the work set before us. Amen.
Okay, thank you for that. Before we formally started, I have a few reminders here, and I'm sure you are familiar with this. To my rules. First is mute yourself except when you have the floor, meaning you can use your microphone while answering, but if you don't, mute it to avoid making unnecessary noise. Second is you can raise your hand virtually for permission to speak. As much as possible, one person will talk at a time. Third is keep your video on for attendance purposes. That is for the end of our class. Lastly is avoid distracting backgrounds or actions so that we can learn more effectively. Are we clear on that?
Yes, Mom.
Thank you. Again, good morning. I hope you take note of the important notes that we will be discussing today. All right. We discussed yesterday the zero conditional sentences, right? So what do you remember about it? Anyone?
Zero conditional sentences describe facts or things very likely to happen.
Thank you. That is right. Zero conditional sentences describe facts or things that very likely to happen. It is used for actions that are always true when the conditions are satisfied. Also, we also discussed that zero conditional has two parts, which are the condition and the results. We also mentioned that when this condition is 100% true, then the result might happen. Next is we also discussed the two forms. First is the if plus condition plus results, where where we where we said that if these forms will use, there's a comma before the result. On the other hand, the second form is result plus if plus condition, whereas the result is at the beginning of the sentence, and we do not use a comma when we write it in this kind of form, right? And lastly, we also discussed that we can replace the if with when. So these are the different ways on creating zero conditional, but they are all means the same. Is there any questions or clarification about the discussion yesterday before we proceed to the next one?
None so far.
Okay, if none, we will now proceed to our next agenda. So I've included a sample dialogue here, a conversation. So I'll give you a minute to read and understand the text, and All I want you to do is to analyze the highlighted words and the structure of each sentence. Is that clear? Is my instructions are clear or do I need to repeat it?
Clear po.
Okay, so here's the conversation. I'll give you a minute. Okay, Dan. Joanna, please read the Beth's conversation. You will be acting as Beth and Jessa will be Anna. Okay, so please read the dialogue.
Hey Anna, my science teacher said that if we put ice cream under the sun, it melts.
Really? I guess it is the same explanation as when we heat water, it boils, and if you freeze water, it becomes solid. Science is amazing.
Yes, science is something that you will love. I would love to be like our teacher.
You become a great teacher if you always listen to them.
That is right. Let us go back to our rooms. I heard the bell rings.
Thank you, girl, for reading the text. So after reading the text, what do you think is the two girls trying to discuss? What do you think is their topic? Yes, Jessa.
I think they discussed what they had learned in science class.
That is right. They are amazed how the things work in their science class. But between those two girls, who wants to be a teacher someday? Did you think of who among them wants to become a teacher? Yes, Joanna.
Bet po, ma'am.
That's right. Beth loved to become like their teacher someday. Beth mentioned that she will love to become like them. Even though they are not in the same room, we can tell that the two girls are good friends based on their conversation. But let's take a look about the highlighted words. I have here the highlighted words with their sentence. First is, if we put ice cream under the sun, it melts. Second is, when we heat water, it boils. Third is, if you freeze water, it becomes solid. And the last one, you become a great teacher if we always listen to them. So after reading this, what do you think is this? Are the highlighted words are verbs, nouns, or what do you think? Yes, Jessa, I see you raising your hand.
I think the highlighted words are all verbs.
Very good. And you notice that they are in the present simple tense, right? Because going back to our discussion yesterday, in conditional sentences, we use present simple or regular actions that describe facts. And again, in using zero conditional sentences, we will always use true or event, situation, or fact. And these sentences, as you notice, they are all examples of a true or a fact situation. And again, in their conversation, we can see the different ways in creating zero conditional sentences. Like, for example, in first sentence, we have, if you put ice cream under the sun, it melts. What do you think is the form? I mentioned earlier and yesterday that we have a two forms of creating a conditional sentences. What do you think is the form of our first sentence? Yes, Jessa?
The if plus condition plus results po.
Okay, let's check it if it's your answer is right. Oh, I forgot to click. You are right. These are verbs and the tense is present simple. So let's check. That's right. If plus condition plus result. How about the second one? When we heat water, it boils. What do you think is the form of this sentence? Yes, Joanna.
The replacement of when to if
So let's check. That's right. Seeing the when on the first sentence, you can easily think that it is a when form. Third is if you freeze water, it becomes solid. What do you think it is? Yes, Jessa.
It's the if plus condition plus results.
Yes. Again, this is if plus condition plus results. How about the last sentence? You become a great teacher if we always listen to them. How about Joanna? What do you think is the form of this sentence?
and the other form, the result plus if plus condition.
That's right. The other form is the result plus if plus condition. In this case, the result is at the beginning and the condition is at the end. So, any questions about the forms that we discussed? If none, we will now do an simple activity. I want you to think your own conditional sentences, at least two, about anything that you want. And please identify the two parts, the condition and the results. I will give you 2 minutes. You can comment your answer on the chat box. Raise your hand if you are ready, okay? So I see some of you are raising their hand. I think you are now ready. So please comment your answers and I will call you one by one to identify the two parts. I can I can see your answer in the comment chat box if you comment your answer here. So I can now see the answer of Jessa. I will wait for the others. And there is another answer here from Joanna. So we will wait for the other two answers. So I think the answer is now complete. So may I call to Jessa to read your first answer and please identify the two parts.
If you mix red and blue, you get purple. The
Okay.
condition part is the if you mix red and blue, while the result is the praise you get purple.
Okay, that's right. And based on your example, it is 100% true that if we mix red and blue, you will get a purple. Have you tried it in your arts class? For example, the crayons or the watercolor, if you mix red and blue, you will always get purple. So thank you for your answer. That is a very good answer. So how about Joanna? Kindly read your answer
Plants die if they don't get enough water.
and identify the two parts.
The result is the plants die, and if they don't get enough water is the condition.
Very good. It is true that the plants will die if they don't get enough water. This is also correct. Thank you, Joanna. The third one, how about Jessa?
If babies are hungry, they cry.
Okay, if babies are hungry, they cry. That is also true. They are always cry when they are hungry. And how about the two parts?
The condition is that if babies are hungry, while the result is they cry.
Very good. How about the last one?
If you touch a fire, you get burned.
Okay, so how about the two parts?
If you touch a fire is the condition and you get burned is the result po.
Okay, very good. That is also 100% true and fact that if you touch a fire, you will get burned. Even if you can't try it on the spot or now, you know that if you touch a fire, you will get burned. So your example sentences or situation is very good. Okay, let us now proceed to another activity. This is also a short activity for you to test the understanding of the conditional sentences. Okay, ready?
Yes po.
So let's do this. Make the zero conditional. So I have 5 sentences here. All you have to do is to think of the right verb that we will use to complete the sentence. So you can raise your hand if you know the answer. Okay? So who wants to try the first one? Yes, Jessa.
If I blank late for work. If I wake up late, I'm late for work.
Okay, let's check if your answer is correct. If I wake up late, I'm late for work. That's right, very good. Next one. Yes, Joanna.
If my husband blank, he blank the food. If my husband cooks, he burned the food.
Okay, let's check if your answer is correct. If my husband blank, he blanked the food. So that's right. Present simple verb. Present simple tense cooks and he burned the food. How about the next one? If children blank well, they blank healthy. Yes, Jessa. Yes, I see Joanna raising her hand, right? Yes, Joanna.
If children don't eat well, they are not be healthy.
Okay, let's check if your answer is right. Yes, if children don't eat well, they are not healthy. Very good. How about the second to the last one? Number 4. If you blank water and electricity, you blank a shop. The verb is mix and get. Yes, Chesa.
If you mix water and electricity, you get a shock.
Okay, let's check. If you mix water and electricity, you get shock. You get a shock. Very good. Last one. I'm sorry for the type of grammatical error. It's number 5, not 2. Yes, Joanna.
If people blank too many sweets, they blank fat. If people eat too many sweets, they get fat.
Okay, let's check if your answer is right. If people eat too many sweets, they get fat. Good job. You make me happy. Thank you for your actively participation. You got the right answers and the your examples is nice and that makes me think that you understand our lesson. So any more questions? Clarifications?
None so far.
If none, please check your Google Classroom to see your assignment and we will see you next week. Thank you for attending this class and I hope you learned something. Goodbye and thank you.